Bows and bow ties. What's up? What's up? What's up? All right, so let me get right on into it. So you clicked on this video. The title was "Should Black People Pay for Their Children's Education?" So let me just say this. Well, maybe it was Tuesday. I can't remember. Monday or Tuesday, I got into a chat argument with an old buddy of mine, and he starts off. Excuse me, sorry. It actually started with the topic of, I said, you know what, man, the United States sucks right now. Because, just making jokes, but basically just calling out the fact that we have such high inflation in the housing market crisis. We've got people who can't get access to formula, and it's just a bunch of shenanigans. And somehow we segued into the conversation about our kids, the future. Now, he's about 500 years older than me, so he starts off he pops off basically by saying that you guys are such brats. I was like, whoa. So you can't just make a statement and not back it up. Instantly puts me on 10. Before I go any further, let me just say, for those of you who don't know me, I am the Black Opinionated woman, also known as a B.O.W. And so the first thing I'm going to need for you to do is go ahead and give the thumbs up because, well, you're going to like what I have to say because I'm amazing. And then go ahead and subscribe. Just all the way subscribe because you guys know you like me. Now, let's move on. So Mr. Ding Dong himself, he's like, you guys are all brats and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, really? I said, well, let's talk about Gen X for a second. I said, first of all, I'm Gen X. I'm 45 years old, so we are not even the largest generation. He's like, we gave you guys everything. I'm like, did you really? Because the last time I checked, I do have a point to this, by the way. I'm like, the baby boomers are the ones who are hoarding all the wealth. And yet you've ran up you're the ones who's big passing all the laws, and you ran up all of this debt, not the Gen Xers. So I'm like, you're complaining, but Gen X is the smallest generation. We are the smallest group that is contributing to the workforce. I'm like, but let me get this straight. You're talking about Gen X, the people who went into the military and this, that, and the other. I said, let me tell you something. I had to take care of my own education. I had scholarships, I had academic scholarships, I had an RTC scholarship, I had all kinds of scholarships. I bootstrapped my own master's. I'm like, nobody gave me anything other than if you're talking scholarships, then yes. I was like, you're talking about how you gave everyone everything, and yet look at everyone walking around with these huge college loan debts. Let's just start with that. Now, part of it, we need to take ownership of, I'm going to say collectively, as far as we shouldn't be going to these expensive colleges just to get a toenail clipping degree, right? State colleges or whatever. There's all forms of ways of getting educated. Now, he's like, yeah, we give you everything. I'm like, do you really? And I went into some other discussion points. I said, let me make this clear. I said, he goes, yeah, you're probably going to pay for your kids' education. I said, you're absolutely right. So then he got quiet. I said, let me make this clear. Ding dong. Black people think it's like a badge of honor. It's noble to be like, I had to do it. You do it for yourself. I'm like, no, I'm not on that. I'm like, we should be reaching back to pull up our youth or to help someone. People who aren't willing to be helped, by the way. I'm not talking about ding dongs. I'm like, this is the reason why the community can't build generational wealth. We can't. We're like, I had to do it by myself. Will you do it? I'm like, I'm not about that. I said, my job is to ensure my children get educated. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to go broke trying to put them in the most expensive schools. State schools work fine. Heck, even community college, and then segue into state schools or whatever it is. Now, my whole big thing is my job is to ensure that they get educated and that they don't carry that debt when they graduate. Now, anything after that, they're on their own. I think the biggest thing for me, my husband is calling me and I'm trying to do this live. My biggest thing for me was we want to have generational wealth. And one of the first things we are going to do is to ensure that we don't saddle them with debt. I don't care what everybody else does. I know what I'm going to do with my family. I don't engage in the shenanigans. okay? Our kids should not be saddled with a bunch of debt. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to help your seed. So this is the reason why the black community continues to suffer. I don't see anything wrong with helping your kids. Now, if you're giving them everything, that's a problem. But ensuring education, I'm like, that's one of the biggest gifts you can give. They can't take away your knowledge. They can take away assets, they can take away other things, but they can't take away your education. So anyway, I said, I'm here for helping our children get educated. He's like, you guys get everything. I'm like, what did you give? What did you give to everybody? I said, and the millennials are really taking it in the shorts. The only thing that we can hope for now I said this just to be really just like tacky. I said, the only thing we can hope for now is that all of the baby boomers just die off. We need you guys to hurry up and die. And then now, the largest transfer of wealth in history, I think, can start to happen. I say that's the only thing that you guys can do for us. Because you guys have given us plenty of war, plenty of debt, plenty of drama. You've helped to perpetuate a lot of hate and classism and all kinds of things. The only thing you guys can do now is die. So now that he's in his feelings, I was like, because I'm like, I don't recall baby boomers giving me much of anything. I'm like, if anything, they are like delusional. They're delusional. They have a blind spot and they don't recognize it. Nevertheless, I think every one of our generations has blind spots. But my point was, he was operating from this space of like moral superiority. I was like, it's too easy to debunk everything you're saying. It would be like taking candy from a baby. The thing is, you're actually not a baby. You're like a fossil. And I meant that to be shady, right? So, but anyway, his whole thing was, we give you guys too much. I'm like, tell me what you've given us. The crack epidemic, the prison industrial complex. I'm just trying to understand. What did you give us? What? You gave us some good music. What else did you give us? Housing crisis? Classism? Racial injustice? I'm like, we're still waiting for a lot of you guys to die off. Like, we really are. All the way just die. Ooh, I need to get off early on this exit so I can get a salad from Chick-fil-A. Yes, I'm about that life today. I didn't bring lunch, and I didn't even bring a snack. So I'm gonna get a salad from Chick-fil-A, and yeah. So, but anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest. He's like, we shouldn't be paying for their education. I'm like, you sound like a total dumb. We should be paying for our kids' education. I don't even care across racial lines. I think everyone should be willing to take care of their children. Why wouldn't you want to leave them in a better position than what you were in? It's disgusting. I was like, there is something wrong with you. I said, there's something wrong with our culture if we can't see how important it is for us to, help our children, to help the youth. The youth they are our biggest asset, our biggest resource. We have to stop treating people a certain kind of way. It's disgusting. Anyway, that's pretty much it. All right, go ahead and subscribe because I'm amazing. I am. Go ahead and watch some of my other videos and leave a comment. All right, Black Opinionated woman out.